Okay, so we're going to start off on your hands and knees. So with your fingertips spread wide and your knees about hip width apart, we're just going to warm up your spine and your shoulders. Inhaling to look up, dropping your belly down to the ground. And then exhaling, curving your chin towards your belly button. So cat and cow. In yoga, and just kind of moving through the full range of motion as we kind of warm up all the muscles along your spine and your shoulder girdle. And this can kind of turn into a back strengthening exercise just by flexing the muscles in your back as you curve your spine up towards the ceiling. And then linking the movement with the breath. It's just kind of a nice juicy way to start off your day. We'll take one or two more passes up and down. And then we'll all meet in a neutral spine. And then pushing your heart away from the floor, you're going to reach your right arm out in front of you, and pushing your left heel straight back behind you. Tighten up your belly, so you tuck your belly button in towards your spine, and take in a deep breath. And then on the exhale, connect elbow to knee under your body. And then inhale to extend, pushing that foot away from you, and keeping your foot flexed like you're pressing it against the wall behind you. Exhale to connect, elbow to knee under your body. And then inhale to extend. Again, exhaling to connect. Inhale to extend. You can do this 2 more times. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. 1 more time making the connection. 1 more time extending out. And coming back down onto all fours. Take a second to repedal, set yourself up. And then reach your left hand out in front of you. Keeping the gaze straight down at the floor, pushing your right heel straight back behind you, and then flexing that foot. Take in a deep breath, and then on the exhale, connect elbow to knee under your body. Inhale to extend, reaching out really long. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. 1 more time making the connection. 1 more time extending. And then coming back down onto all fours. Bring your knees out to either side of the mat with your big toes together. We're going to rest in child's pose just for a moment. Letting your forehead drop down towards the floor and your fingertips out in front of you. From here, we're going to press your fingertips into the mat and curl under your toes to come into a downward facing dog. So once you're in this downward dog position, we're going to keep your tailbone reaching up towards the ceiling, pretty much as high as you can. And then we're going to reach your right hand to your left toes, crossing under your body. Come back to center, and reach your left hand to your right toes. So we're just going to go side to side with this movement for a total set of 20 reps. Seven, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Going for 5 more of those. Keep on going. And then once you finish a set of 20 of those, we're going to walk yourself forward to sit on your bum and post your hands behind you. So raising your hips up off the floor, we're going to come into crab kicks. So reaching opposite hand, opposite toe again. Pretty much the same thing as we did in the downward dog toe touch, but just kicking side to side. Again, going for a set of 20. 15. There's 20. Cool. Once you come finish all with those, we'll come to laying down flat on your back and then posting your heels down so you can just about find your heels with your fingertips. We're going to bring both hands behind your head and we're going to do crunches, a set of 25, coming up as high as you can for each one. You can leave your hands behind your head or across your chest. The only thing we want to try to maintain is that space between your chin and your chest, so you still have a neutral neck, neutral spine. Cool. Once you finish a set of 25 of those, you're going to put your hands underneath your bum. We're going to go for a set of 25 leg lifts. So everyone say hi to Dimity.
Where's your wallet?
I'm in that studio door.
Oh.
It's over there on that bench. Doing a set of leg lifts, just ignore Dimity.
What bench? Ah,
Yeah, there it is.
thanks.
You can leave through that door.
Well, I left that one open.
Oh, okay.
Should I just leave it open?
Yeah, it's okay.
Thanks.
Bye. Dimity's taking the kids to the Mohonk Preserve today, so she needed my pass. And that explains the Dimity visit. Cool. Once you finish your set of 25, you can come on down and rest for a second. Okay, so we're going to bring your right hand behind your head and straighten out your left leg along the floor. From here, we're going to crunch up and try and connect your right elbow to your left knee. So coming up, making that connection, and then straightening all the way back down. We're going to go for a set of 15 of these. Try and hold it for 1 full second while you make that connection to make it kind of a meaningful core exercise. Give a big exhale as you come up, so your lungs get empty. And the hand that's supporting your head is just supporting your head. It's not actually pulling your chin to your chest. Once you finish your set of 15, you just go straight into the other side. Bring your left hand behind your head, straighten your right leg along the floor, and then crunching elbow to knee. Try to make that connection at the top. And you can really kind of feel how once you make that connection, you begin to really use your abs. Lovely. Once you finish your set of 15 of those, again, we're going to rest your hands on underneath your bum and straighten out your legs, and then just kind of flexing your head and shoulders up off the mat. We're going to come to flutter kicks and trying to maintain that length through your spine. Try to keep the movement coming out of your hips so your knees aren't bending at all. Legs are straight. Ten more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. Crossing your right ankle over your left knee, lifting your left foot up off the floor. We're going to do a set of figure 4 crunches coming straight up and down. So hands can go behind your head. Bring your shoulder blades up off the mat for 15 times. Once you finish your set of 15, switching sides. Doing the same thing on the other. 15. Crunching up as high as you can. Whew, those are good. Cool. Once you're all done with those, we're going to come to resting on your side. So with your forearm on the ground, fingertips spread wide, and then keeping that shoulder really strong. So it's not like you're hanging out telling a story, but you're actively engaged in doing an exercise. We're going to do rib rakes. So you're holding the plank, your hand is like a rake. We're going to rake it under your ribs and then come all the way up with your hand over your head. We're going to go for 10 of these on each side. And then switching sides. Resting on the opposite arm, fingertips spread wide. Again, that shoulder girdle is really strong. Engaged, coming up, making that rake with your hand, raking it under your ribs, coming all the way up over your head, 10 times. Cool. Once you're all done with those, you can rest on your bum with your hands posting behind your back again. So we're going to pretend like the front and center part of your mat is like hot lava. So we're going to extend out your legs along one side of the hot lava so you don't burn yourself. Bring your knees into your chest. Extend your legs over the other side of the hot lava so you don't burn yourself. We're going to go for a set of 10 of these total. 3, 4, 5. Try and straighten out your legs as much as you can when you extend them. Try and bring your knees as close to your chest as you come up. And then all of a sudden the hot lava is gone and you can put your feet back down. It's nice and cool, and isn't that lovely? So from here we're going to lay down on your back again. So what we've been doing is kind of like a combination of working from upper abs to obliques to an isometric, right? So we're going to go through that whole general circuit again. So upper ab exercise, you're going to bring your feet together so your big toes are touching, and then drop your knees out in either direction. Just take a second to rock side to side so you kind of open up your hips. Then we're going to put one hand over the other like you're diving into a swimming pool, and we're going to slide your hands along your body parallel to the floor all the way until your shoulder blades come up. We're going to do a set of 20 of these. So you can create a little bit of momentum with your hands as you come up, and then try and rock back slow on the way back down. 18, 18, 19, 20. Once you're all done with those, you're going to bring your hands back under your bum. We're going to straighten up your legs directly over your hips. We're going to do a vertical hip raise. So you're using your lower abs to kind of kick your butt up off the floor and then lower it down slowly. Trying to keep your hips directly above your feet directly above your hips. So as you kick up, it's not like you're rocking back like that, because that doesn't really do anything. What we're going to do is kick straight up and down for a set of 20. Try and lower as slowly as you can. I like to pick a point on the ceiling that I think is directly above my hips, and then try and kick my toes up to that point. Teen, 20. Cool. Once you complete your set of those, you're going to bring your feet and your knees together. Bring both arms straight out to the side along the floor, and then drop both knees over to one side. All right, so with your knees stacked directly on top of one another, ankles stacked directly on top of one another, you're going to bring both hands behind your head and try and crunch both shoulder blades up off the mat 15 times on each side. So this is an oblique crunch. Once you finish your set of 15, just switch in sides. Bring both knees over in the opposite direction. Get yourself situated. And then 15 oblique crunches on the other. Cool. Once you finish a set of those, we'll come into our isometric. So raising your feet up off the floor, flexing your toes towards you. We're going to press your hands into your thighs and your thighs into your hands for 30 seconds. So doing that nice strong press. So you're actively engaging your deep core and your psoas. So push, 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 push for 10 more seconds. Try to keep it difficult. 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten on out. Pushing out through the heels of your feet, reaching your hands over your head. Just kind of stretching out your abdominal wall for a minute. So what we're going to do next is from this position, we're going to straighten out, extend your arms and legs into a starfish shape. Taking a deep breath, and then on the exhale, we're going to raise your legs and your arms to come up into boat pose. So breathe in deep, and then exhale, come up to float, so everything comes up together. And imagine like someone's pulling you from your heart straight up towards the ceiling. Raise both hands over your head, and then slowly lowering all the way back down on the ground. And we're going to do 4 more of those. Opening up your arms and legs in the shape of a star, taking in a deep breath, big exhale, coming up to float into your boat, and holding it long enough that you're like, okay, I'm doing something and I'm not just hanging out on a Friday morning with Nolan online. Raising both hands up over your head, and then slowly lowering down all the way onto the floor. Beautiful. Opening up your arms and legs again. Deep breath in. Strong exhale, coming up into your boat. Nice, and if it starts feeling difficult, maintain that length in your spine. Raising both hands up over your head, and then slowly lowering all the way down to the floor. We're going to do this 2 more times. Opening up your arms and legs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, floating up. Oops, onto your tailbone. Beautiful, both hands up over your head, floating on back down to the floor. One last time, opening up your arms and legs, deep breath in, exhale to float up. Nice, find that balance, raise both hands up over your head, and then slowly floating all the way back down to the ground. Those are so much fun, everybody loves them. All right, rolling over back onto your side. We're going to do a set of hip raises coming up and down. So again, keeping that shoulder really strong, we're going to do 15 hip raises. So hand can be on your hip, raising your hip up off the floor and lowering. So it's pretty straightforward, or pretty side forward. Once you finish your 15, switch sides. So again, find that strength in your shoulder. 15 hip raises, start whenever you're ready. Cool. So coming all the way down onto your belly, we're going to come into Superman, where he turns into a cactus. We're going to do this 5 times. So your hands are out in front of you, legs are out, always behind you. Flying up like Superman. That's wonderful. Bring your elbows back down, drawing your shoulder blades away from your ears. Extend back into Superman and then lower softly all the way back down onto the ground. Go at your own pace. Go for a total of 5. And more than anything, we're listening to the muscles in your back. So if this feels like it's a little bit too much, you can back off, and just coming up like that works. And then whenever you finish a set of 5 of those, we'll come all the way back into child's pose to stretch out your lower back. After all that good strengthening stuff, it's just kind of good to give a little break for a second. And then coming back forwards onto your hands, we're going to do a plank with rotation. So what that ends up looking like is you're holding your plank, but we're going to rock one hip to one side, one hip to your other side. So while we're holding it for that 60 seconds, we're just going to go side to side. We're going to start right now. Okay? So 60 seconds, just twisting your hips one side to the other. Try to stay strong through your shoulders, so you're not really like collapsing down towards the ground. We got about 15 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're all done. Coming back into child's pose for a moment. And then whenever you're ready, walking back up onto your hands and knees. We're going to push your heart away from the floor. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. So you're doing a spinal twist. And then exhale, threading your right arm underneath your left to bring your right ear down towards the floor. Pause here for 3 breaths. Pushing off your left hand, raising your right arm back up towards the ceiling. And then coming back onto all fours. You can do the same thing on the other side. So raising your left arm up towards the ceiling, rolling through the shoulder girdle, and then on the exhale, threading that left arm underneath the right till your left ear finds the floor. So you're coming into a spinal twist again. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. 2 more breaths here. Whenever you're ready, pushing off that hand, raising your left arm back up towards the ceiling. Coming back onto all fours and making your way into a comfortable sitting position on your mat. So inhale, raising both hands up over your head. And exhale, dropping one hand down by the side, doesn't matter which hand. Then we're going to bend at the elbow to bring that elbow down towards the ground as you reach that top arm over your body, and then roll the shoulder blade back so you can take your gaze up towards the ceiling underneath your biceps. Inhale so deeply that you feel the stretch in your lower abs and side body. And then on an exhale, squeezing from your obliques, we're going to come all the way back up. So my arm didn't push me up, it was my core that squeezed me up. Squeeze me up, whatever. Dropping your other hand down by the side, finding the floor, bending at the elbow and reaching that top arm over your body and then rolling through the shoulders so you can take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Breathing so deep that you feel that stretch all the way down here in your obliques. Good. And then whenever you're ready to come out of it, you can take in a deep breath, and then on the exhale, squeeze from the obliques. Come all the way back up, and then happy glitter fingers all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And that's it. That's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for coming to core class. I hope everything is like peaceful and happy and healthy in the world. I don't know. I'll meet you guys. Oh, you have to unmute. Oh, there we go, Jim.
Thanks, Nolan.
Thank you, Jim.